Hey everyone, Justin with Bousquet Realty Group here. It is Monday, May 10th on the Ask a Realtor a question series for the month of May. Just getting to my email, so I apologize. I hope everyone's weekend was good. If you hadn't had a chance, wish my mom happy birthday and happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. I just want to get to my email. I apologize for not having that up and running, but I should have had that prior to this. Give me just a moment here. Perfect. Okay. So this question comes from, looks like I got it from Instagram. So this question was, Justin, how does timing the market affect resale? Good question. All right, so right now we're in a seller's market, which means that the price values for homes are really high because the demand for the houses are really high. So there's a lot of competition. When you're listing your house for sale, you're going to get multiple offers. You're going to get a lot of different valuations for your property. Most of them are going to exceed the current market value for the home by a little bit. I mean, theoretically speaking, the house still has to appraise by lenders, but we are seeing the levels of homes go up. With the interest rates still being low, still a lot of qualified buyers out there. So you got to look at it from a resale perspective. If you are trying to look at it from a resale perspective as a buyer, the houses are at their maximum value right now. So purchasing a house over the list price could mean that when you're going to sell your property later on down the line, you may end up incurring a loss. It's possible. We've never seen a market like this, and really in the history of real estate in this area. I mean, there has been a couple times in history where houses' values have been at peaks, but never have we seen interest rates as low as they are, combined with the type of demand that we're seeing for homes. And to add another factor to that, the cost of materials to build a house is actually skyrocketed. It's like the prices of siding have gone up almost 12% in the last 2 months. The windows have gone up about 7% in the last 2 months. So these costs are delaying people who are trying to buy land and build properties. The value of that has gone up a little bit. The value of land's gone up a little bit. So everything's kind of at a peak. So timing the market, how do you time a market? So the investors will tell you, and anybody who understands profit and losses, you want to buy low and you want to sell high. That's common sense. But to try to buy a house at its maximum value or over its maximum value in this market, you've got to be okay with it being more of a long-term investment. So if you plan on purchasing the property and you're going to hold on to it for 10 years, 12 years, there's a great chance, depending upon when you go to sell your property again, that you could possibly get back what you're selling the property for. It's a common misconception that house prices will always continue to rise over time. Not necessarily true. There are multiple reports out there that will show you that it's not the construction age of the house, but it's actually what they call the real age of the home, which includes things like roofing and functionality, things like boiler systems and septic or sewer systems, and the functionalities of the home that actually determine the house's age. So over time, we have seen home prices rise over the years, but you're not going to see a $200,000 house in 10 years be a $500,000 house. It's just not going to happen unless all the homes in the neighborhood all get knocked down and they all $1 million properties end up going up in its place. Has it happened before somewhere in the world? I'm sure it has, but the likelihood of that happening here is pretty small. So I would say timing the market is a pretty important thing. If you're a buyer, you really don't want to buy a home at the highest value that is, because when you go to sell that home sometime in the future, there's a good chance, again, you might not get back your investment. So you want to try to time the market where, home values are not at its peak, but also they're not all the way down, because the lending power tends to have something to do with that. Usually if we're in an economic downturn and there's a recession, it's hard. The houses are usually not in the greatest condition. Houses are harder to come by when it comes to a fully prepared property. Investors love it. I would say if you were a buyer, you want to buy at the lowest amount, obviously, but timing it in between is probably where you can, if I were to give you a real answer, you want to time it where it's not at its lowest and it's not quite at its highest. I would say somewhere into the middle to the low side if you can. It's tough to do because the way it's been over the last couple of years is that the market has really been on a high turn. We got a lot of demand for homes. The prices are really up. So timing the market is pretty key if you're trying to purchase a property. Consequently, timing the market is also pretty important when selling a property, because you obviously want to do the opposite. You want to sell it as highest you possibly can, but you run into some things that can possibly happen when that occurs. And one of them is, which a lot of you people who are selling your properties are finding out, that trying to buy a property after the fact, or try to buy a property after you've sold a property, is increasingly difficult. So, a good real estate agent will do everything they can to find another property for you before the sale of your current property is up. So, sometimes being at the peak of the market as a seller isn't always the best either, because that means that demand is super high for homes, and you are now competing in a market where there's 7 to 10 people bidding on homes at the same time, and a lot of the values are at their peak. So you may be getting yourself into a situation where you're not making a lot of profit. So I would say that if you're trying to time the market as a seller, you want it to be in the middle to a little bit on the high side, so you can get a little bit of profit and still be able to turn around and use the profit you're getting to purchase another property. Now, this can also change depending on your situation. So timing the market, if you're trying to downsize versus upsize, is an important factor to consider. Interest rates is an important factor to consider, and obviously the home valuation. So if you guys want a free home evaluation report, go ahead and just click my link in my website, or you can go ahead and send me an email, and I will be happy to send you a free home evaluation report. So if you are trying to sell your property, you can get kind of an idea of roughly what it would go for. Really, you need an in-person visit from me to help you with that. Also, if you're looking to purchase a piece of property as well, feel free to reach back out to me as well. I'd love to give you as much information I can about the pre-qualification process if you're using financing, or if you plan on purchasing cash, and giving you the local market conditions for the area that you're looking to work in. I know, way more than 5 minutes. We're almost 8.5. But either way, I hope that was good enough information for you. We'll talk to you soon. Sorry I didn't get this video out as fast as I wanted to. I know it's 4 o'clock already. Jeez. But had a busy Monday. I hope you guys had a busy Monday. Hopefully it was a productive Monday. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there yesterday. And looking forward to a great week. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.